Yamaha WR450F. Best beginner motorcycle. Horizontal 4-stroke single. The 2021 Yamaha WR450F represents a rethinking of its placement in the marketplace. No longer submitting to California's onerous and pointless green sticker regulations, Yamaha has pumped up the motor and revised the chassis. The new WR450F is still quiet and has a USFS-approved spark arrestor, so it's United States Forestry Service friendly, making it an ideal trail bike. While there's a racer's heart beating underneath the civilized exterior just waiting for appropriate mods, we tested it in stock condition for non-competitive off-road riding. Yamaha worked over the WR450F powerplant for 2021, and not without a significant result. It gets more aggressive cam profiles, directing valves at a steeper angle, plus a higher compression piston and longer connecting rod. The headpipe connector and the air filter are flowing more air. Although all of this is bad news for Californians, they voted for the people behind the rules. Yamaha traded green sticker compliance for increased performance a few years ago, and Yamaha doesn't appear to be going back. The 2021 Yamaha WR450FS motor has a triple personality, all of them are enjoyable. The results of the rethinking of the WR450 powerplant are inescapable. The motor has an ultra-wide usable power band from about 2,500 to 11,000 RPM. However, the power isn't delivered linearly, so it's a matter of deciding which part of the rev range suits what you want to do. In the lower rev range, the WR450F is happily docile. From idle to about 5,000 RPM, the DOHC motor puts out torquey power that makes quick work of the most technical trails. Nothing happens in a hurry, so you don't have to worry about ultra-precise throttle control when you're battling a brutal trail. The EFI fuels impeccably, so you can work through the hard stuff without worry of unexpected stalling, even at basement RPM. Throttle response is subdued, so the WR450F won't leap out from under you without warning. It's a sweet, torquey pleasure that invites taking on those trickier and more challenging trails that rely on your wiles rather than your wildness. Once you hit 5K, things start to happen quickly. Give the titanium valve motor some throttle, and acceleration happens at a much faster pace. It's still easy to control the motor, as it's not jumpy, but you definitely need to be paying attention. You are hurtling down the trail at a much faster pace in the mid-range, and it's a blast. While not a brutal 450 style hit, it has undeniably more muscle than a 250. It's not just the horsepower that's increasing at 5,000 RPM, the torque is also muscling its way into the proceedings. You don't have to be an A-class enduro rider, but this is not a portion of the power band for beginners on a single track. By 800 RPM, the gain tapers off and you are left with a magnificent over-rev. The power flattens out over 8K, but don't let that fool you. The motor is cranking out over 45 horses at this point and knocking on the door of 50 horsepower at its peak, and there's no letting up until just before the 11K redline. It is far above my pay grade to be riding the WR450F on a woodsy single track in this rev range. Still, some serious hill climbs are available with that flexible motor. On an open road or across the desert, the motor is flat out hauling, and the bravest among us will be wishing for a sixth gear in the tranny. A capable motor such as this requires a top-notch chassis, and Yamaha did not let us down. Yamaha reworked the flex of the twin-spar aluminum frame, along with changing the top triple clamp, the front axle, and the engine mounts, all inspired by the YZ450F motocrosser. Without an older WR450F to compare head-to-head, all I can do is tell you that the chassis feel is flawless. The 2021 Yamaha WR450F is absolutely comfortable changing direction on the trail. Big bore 4-strokes can get demanding when the going gets tough. The front end doesn't push or dive into corners, so its behavior is utterly predictable. The chassis and motor are both highly forgiving. I'm big on line selection and the ability to put the motorcycle where I want it to be, and I can do that on the WR450F. The combination of the motor and the frame allows for precise handling in the woods without feeling like you're having to wrestle an unwilling motorcycle. Although the WR450F is no lightweight at 262 pounds and the big motor can pack a strong punch, I was still able to ride it exactingly when I needed to. Even on challenging trails where a trials bike would have been more comfortable, the WR450F refused to overwhelm me. The pull from right off the bottom inspires all kinds of confidence, and the cable pull clutch effortlessly modulates the power.